This debate today, it's about who gets to be an American. What opinions do we have to be counted as Americans? This is what this debate is about, Madam Speaker. There is this idea that you are a suspect if you are an immigrant, or if you are from certain parts of the world, or a certain skin tone, or a Muslim. It is no accident that members of the Republican Party accused the first Black president, Barack Obama, of being a secret Muslim.
Lisa Ilhan just went nuclear on the House floor. And trust me, she did not hold back. In under 2 minutes, she ripped through the left's hypocrisy on law, order, and accountability. While some politicians were busy making excuses, man showed up with two things you don't see often in DC: the Constitution and a backbone. Before we roll the clip, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell because you're about to see the kind of fiery truth Congress usually hides behind polite speeches and scripted apologies.
Gentleman reserves. Gentlelady from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to use that logic, well, then all those people should have just said sorry and we'd move on, right? But no, we don't do that. And let me tell you, I take a little bit of offense to what the hell is wrong with me. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with me. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to hold the Constitution, and it's very simple. We really shouldn't even have this debate. If you break the law and you follow due process, there are consequences to your actions, even if you say sorry. So we can try all of the diversion tactics that we would like. It doesn't change the fact that someone broke the law and that someone should be held accountable. It is disappointing, Mr. Speaker, that their own party can't hold them accountable, that they have such hypocrisy. So with that, I yield 2 minutes to my friend from New York, Nicole Meliatakis.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Talk about what Representative Omar has said, talking about that, because I think it's important to put this in context. In February 2019, Representative Omar tweeted, and I quote, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," in reference to American support for Israel. She said that AIPAC was buying U.S. representatives. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the entire Democratic leadership actually condemned Representative Omar for these anti-Semitic comments. Then, again, just to show this is a pattern, this isn't some one-off incident, February 27, 2019, she doubled down on her stance at a forum in Washington, D.C. when she said, and I quote, "I want to talk about the political influence in this country that says it's okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country," end quote. Clearly, she's going back to the trope that Jewish Americans have a dual loyalty between the United States and Israel. That offended Chairman Eliot Engel, who at the time was the Democratic chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. And he said, and I quote, "It's unacceptable and deeply offensive to call into question the loyalty of fellow American citizens because of their political views, including support for the U.S.-Israeli relationship. We all take the same oath. Worse, Representative Omar's comments leveled that charge by invoking a vile anti-Semitic slur," end quote. Again, that's not me saying that. That's a former Democratic chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Further, in March 2019, Representative Omar trivialized the terrorist attacks of September 11th that killed just about 3,000 U.S. citizens by describing it as, and I quote, "some people did something." Her words. In 2021, a few months before the death of 13 service members during the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, Representative Omar compared service members of the United States and the Israeli Defense Forces to terrorist groups like Hamas and the Taliban. She tweeted, and I quote, "We have seen unthinkable atrocities committed by the U.S., Hamas, Israel, Afghanistan, and the Taliban," end quote. To think that a representative here in this body would equate the Israeli Defense Force and the American service members to Hamas and the Taliban speaks volumes. It's unacceptable. That person should not be on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Representative Omar's Democratic colleagues sent a statement asking her to clarify those remarks because it was offensive and misguided. Again, the words of my colleagues across the aisle about Representative Ilhan Omar's words, and she refused to apologize. In May of 2021, Representative Omar accused Israel of committing war crimes following days of conflict between Israel and Hamas, where Hamas was launching rockets into Israel that saw thousands of missiles fired indiscriminately at Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, killing civilians. And she described Israel's defensive posture as war crimes, saying nothing about the terrorist attacks of Hamas. So spare me the false outrage over her comments. She's proven time and time again that she should not be on the Foreign Affairs Committee. But I'd like to yield 5 minutes to my good friend from the state of Florida, Representative Maria Salazar.
All right, let's rewind. This wasn't some minor floor debate. This was about accountability. Democrats were bending over backward to defend one of their own who had, let's just say, broken the rules. Their excuse, a simple sorry. Now, call me old-fashioned, but since when did sorry become the official get-out-of-jail-free card in Washington? If that's the standard, we might as well rename Congress the Sorry Club. They mess up, they apologize, and just like that, taxpayers foot the bill for forgiveness. But Lisa Lawn wasn't buying it. She stood up, fire in her voice, and said, "What the hell is wrong with me? Nothing. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do." You could feel the discomfort ripple through the chamber because deep down they knew she was right. Mann's message was brutally simple. If you break the law, you face the consequences. Period. Due process exists for a reason. And saying, "I'm sorry," doesn't magically rewrite the Constitution. She nailed what the political class has forgotten. The oath of office isn't a photo op. It's a promise. And while too many in Washington treat it like background noise, Milan treats it like her mission statement. Let's be honest, if an average American pulled half the stunts some of these politicians do, they'd be fired or behind bars before lunch. But in D.C., you get a press conference, a sympathetic interview, and a glossy headline about your personal growth. Lisa Milan has had enough of that nonsense, and so have millions of Americans watching this circus unfold. Here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. Milan isn't just talking tough, she's walking the walk. She sits on the House Armed Services Committee. She's backed law enforcement, veterans, and constitutional freedoms. And she's fought runaway spending and double standards in government. Remember when she grilled the administration for ignoring immigration laws while cracking down on citizens during the CO restrictions? That's what consistency looks like. And clearly, Americans are noticing. A 2024 Gallup poll shows public trust in Congress at just 8%. That's lower than the IRS. When the tax man's more popular than your lawmakers, something's seriously broken. Here's what makes Mann's speech stand out. She didn't need theatrics or drama. She just laid it out. You break the law. You face the music. Simple. It's the kind of logic you'd expect from a parent, not a politician. And yet in Washington, that's now a radical idea. Imagine that believing in consequences is controversial. What's next? Declaring gravity offensive. Then she dropped the line that had Democrats squirming, "It's disappointing that your own party can't hold you accountable." That one hit harder than a State of the Union applause break because accountability isn't partisan. It's American. And Washington seems to have forgotten that. Lisa Lawn reminded everyone in that chamber. The Constitution isn't a prop, it's the playbook. You don't rewrite it because your party's in power. You defend it because it's what makes America worth fighting for. And that's why regular Americans are tuning out the noise and tuning in to leaders who still believe in right and wrong. So here's my question to you. Did Lisa Lawn hit the mark, or have apologies become enough in modern politics? Drop your thoughts below. Hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell because we're just getting started exposing hypocrisy, defending the Constitution, and bringing you the unfiltered truth from inside Capitol.